February 1959. Deep in the Ural Mountains, a search party finds a tent slashed open from the inside. Outside, 9 sets of footprints lead into the -30-degree darkness. The hikers had fled their only shelter, barefoot, running toward a frozen death. Why? What terrified 9 experienced mountaineers enough to cut their way out? The discovery of their bodies, crushed, burned, and radioactive, would become the most chilling mystery of the Soviet era.
This is the unsolved mystery of the Dyatlov Pass Incident. To understand the nightmare, we must first understand who these people were. This was not a group of careless amateurs. They were the best of the best. Led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, a brilliant radio engineering student known for his cool head and iron will, the group included 8 men and 2 women from the Ural Polytechnic Institute. They were chasing a Grade 3 certification, the highest difficulty rating in the Soviet Union. Their diaries, recovered later from the snow, are heartbreakingly normal. They wrote about the local Mansi people, they cracked jokes about romance, and they teased each other about who snored the loudest. Black and white photos show them hugging, playing the mandolin, and laughing. On January 28th, Yuri Yudin, one of the hikers, fell ill with joint pain. He was forced to turn back, hugging his friends goodbye and feeling jealous that they would complete the adventure without him. He had no idea he was the only one who would ever come home. By February 1st, the group had drifted off course due to a blinding snowstorm. Rather than losing altitude to camp in the safety of the forest, Dyatlov made a bold, confident decision. They would camp right there, on the exposed, windswept slope of Kholat Syakhl, to practice a cold camp. They pitched their tent, ate a dinner of crackers and ham, and settled in for the night. As far as the evidence shows, everything was calm, until it wasn't. When the group failed to send their scheduled telegram, a massive rescue operation was launched. On February 26th, the tent was found, but it was the bodies that turned the search into a horror story. The first 2 hikers, Yuri Krivonashenko and Yuri Doroshenko, were found nearly a mile downhill near the base of a towering cedar tree. They were stripped to their underwear, shoeless, lying next to the remains of a tiny fire that had burned out long ago. The forensic details here are baffling. The branches of the cedar tree were broken up to 5 meters high. This implies that in their final freezing moments, one of them was frantically climbing the tree. Were they gathering firewood? Or were they climbing high to look back at the tent, checking to see if the thing that chased them was still there? Between the cedar tree and the tent, searchers found 3 more bodies: Igor Dyatlov, Zenaida Kolmogorova, and Rustam Slobodin. They were scattered at different intervals, frozen in poses that suggested they were trying to crawl back up the slope toward the tent. Despite the -30-degree cold, they had died fighting to return to their gear.
It would take 2 months for the spring thaw to reveal the final 4 hikers. They were found deep in a ravine, buried under 4 meters of hard-packed snow. And unlike the others who died of hypothermia, these bodies told a violent story. Lyudmila Dubinina and Semyon Zolotaryov had suffered chest fractures so severe that medical examiners compared the force to a high-speed car crash. Yet, there were no external bruises. It was as if they had been crushed by a massive uniform pressure. The horror deepened with the autopsy. Lyudmila was missing her tongue. She was missing her eyes. And then came the radiation. When clothing from the hikers was tested with a Geiger counter, It registered presence of radioactive contamination. Family members at the funerals reported that the victim's skin had turned a deep, unnatural orange-brown, and their hair had turned completely gray. How does a hiking trip end with car crash injuries, radiation, and missing eyes? This is where the official explanation begins to fall apart.
The investigation was closed as abruptly as it began. In May 1959, the Soviet government sealed the files, sending them to a secret archive. The official cause of death was listed as a compelling natural force, a phrase so vague it was essentially a legal way of saying, "We have no idea." For 3 years, the area was forbidden to skiers and hikers. This secrecy only fueled the fire. Was it a military test gone wrong, a KGB cover-up, or something far older protecting the mountain? In 2020, Russian authorities reopened the case. Their modern conclusion was a slab avalanche, a small, solid block of snow that slid over the tent, crushing the hikers and forcing a panicked escape. It is the most scientific answer we have. It explains the fractures. It explains the retreat. But it doesn't explain everything. It doesn't explain the radiation. It doesn't explain why experienced hikers walked to their deaths instead of digging the tent out. The Dyatlov Pass remains a chilling monument to the unknown. The mountain is quiet now, but the questions still scream.
The Dyatlov Pass remains one of the most confusing chapters in Soviet history, but it is just one of thousands of stories that time has tried to forget. If you want to join me in uncovering the forgotten, the strange, and the fascinating events of the past, please consider liking this video and subscribing. From wars to weird inventions, history is often stranger than fiction. I'll see you in the next one.